December 16, 1944, at 5:30 a.m., Schnee-Eifel Ridge near the Belgian-German border was shrouded in dense morning fog. Here, soldiers from the U.S. 196th Infantry Division were stationed, while on the opposing side, German troops of the 18th Volksgrenadier Division prepared for their initial assault that would mark the start of the Battle of the Bulge. Armed with the Karabiner 98K rifle, which had been used by their fathers during World War I and was known for its reliability from Poland to Moscow, these soldiers were about to face a new reality on the battlefield. Within hours, they would realize that tactics based around the 5-round capacity and bolt-action mechanism of their rifles had become outdated in comparison to American semi-automatic weapons. The fundamentals of modern infantry combat had shifted dramatically. While German soldiers could fire 15 aimed rounds per minute with their Karabiner 98Ks USF, troops equipped with M1 Garands could achieve between 20 and 24 shots within the same time frame. This disparity would prove crucial in numerous engagements. The Wehrmacht's reliance on the Karabiner 98K stemmed from decades of battlefield success. The design had been refined since 1898, representing the pinnacle of bolt-action rifle technology at that time. Training manuals like Derakim emphasized marksmanship over volume, stating that one precise shot was more effective than multiple scattered rounds. This philosophy had led German forces to victory across Europe in World War II. The MG-42 machine gun provided suppressive fire while riflemen delivered accurate shots, a system that had swiftly conquered Poland and France. However, post-war analysis by U.S. Army researchers revealed that German training focused on engaging targets at ranges of 400 to 800 meters, despite combat statistics showing most engagements occurred within 300 meters or less. This doctrinal mismatch would prove detrimental when facing American troops armed with weapons optimized for shorter distances. In February 1943, the Battle of Kasserine Pass marked the first significant engagement between German forces and American units armed with M1 Garands. Despite achieving a tactical victory on the battlefield, subsequent after-action reports submitted to German command highlighted concerning issues that were largely ignored at the time. According to U.S. Army historical records, German troops reported encountering unexpectedly intense rifle fire from American positions. Reconnaissance units of the 10th Panzer Division engaged with elements of the U.S. Second Corps and observed American infantry maintaining steady fire while conducting fighting withdrawals, a maneuver nearly impossible for soldiers equipped with bolt-action rifles. Kasserine casualty reports analyzed by U.S. intelligence showed that German losses were disproportionately high during pursuit phases when retreating American forces continued to provide sustained defensive fire. Despite this initial success at Kasserine, the warnings went largely unheeded due to the perceived inexperience and poor leadership of American troops. It was assumed that superior German tactics would easily overcome any advantages offered by U.S. weaponry. From 1943 through 1943, the Italian campaign exposed German forces extensively to the effectiveness of American firepower in mountainous terrain initially deemed favorable for defense. At the Battle of San Pietro in December 1943, the 29th Panzer Grenadier Division faced sustained rifle fire from American positions that defied German tactical expectations. U.S. Army combat interviews immediately following the battle revealed that American riflemen were able to maintain suppressive fire while maneuvering, with each soldier functioning independently rather than relying solely on squad automatic weapons. German defensive positions along the Winterline, particularly around Monte Cassino, reported difficulties in countering American patrol tactics. Reports indicate that U.S. patrols armed primarily with M1 Garands could generate sufficient firepower to suppress German positions and force defenders into cover while maneuvering. The Gothic Line battles of 1944 further underscored the cumulative impact of this disparity in firepower. German defensive doctrine called for defenders to emerge from cover between enemy shots to return fire, but against semi-automatic weapons, there was no such pause. Units of the Wehrmacht reported to higher command that American infantry had superior fire control at all engagement ranges under 500 meters. The Normandy invasion highlighted this disparity in firepower even more sharply. The 3-5 Tuscan Infantry Division defending Omaha Beach consisted of experienced troops in prepared positions with pre-registered fields of fire, yet they still faced overwhelming American firepower. Despite these benefits, they were overwhelmed by the intensity of the rifle fire from advancing American units. Historical records from D-Day indicate that soldiers from the 1st and 29th Infantry Divisions, despite enduring significant losses on Omaha Beach, managed to keep up suppressive fire while scaling the bluffs. German strongpoints designed to withstand artillery bombardments were gradually neutralized by the cumulative effect of thousands of rounds fired from M1 Garands chambered-in .36 ammunition. The close-range combat typical of the Normandy campaign saw engagement distances often under 50 meters, making rate of fire more crucial than long-distance accuracy. American tactical doctrine, developed at Fort Benning and refined through Enden, one day U1 proplement, one day U1 50 house, one day U1 and day U1 B, I and D, one day U1 day and day U1 and day U1 day U1 TV, U1 teen, 4 and day U1 D, U1 PM, Indi, U1. Each U.S., probably E, rifle squad could deliver between 68 and 200 rounds per minute of accurate fire, whereas a typical German squad managed only 40 to 70 rounds per minute from rifles alone. While the Germans relied heavily on their MG-42 machine guns for suppressing enemy positions, American squads achieved similar results through coordinated rifle fire. This disparity became evident during the Battle of the Bulge in December 1944, when the German offensive revealed significant weaknesses in their tactical approach against superior American firepower. On December 16th, elements of the 6th Panzer Army's camp group of Piper clashed with parts of the U.S. 99th Infantry Division near Lancereth. Despite being outnumbered, American infantry platoons managed to hold off the German advance by maintaining intense rifle fire that prevented German infantry from effectively supporting their armored units. Similarly, the encircled and outnumbered soldiers of the 1-1 Burst Airborne Division at Bastogne held their defensive perimeter largely due to the superior firepower provided by the M1 Garand. Combat reports indicate that traditional German tactics involving advances under machine gun cover were repeatedly disrupted by the volume of American rifle fire. In movement techniques assuming pattern, German infantry, trained in fire and movement techniques assuming pauses between enemy shots, found no such breaks when soldiers could engage targets while moving, quickly reload using unblocked clips, and maintain continuous suppressive fire. The industrial production of the M1 Garand was as crucial to its battlefield success as its design. During World War II, Springfield Armory and Winchester, Repeating Arms Company, manufactured a total of 800 M1 Garands. Production peaked at 1936 rifles per day in January 1946. Rifles like the G60 K46, Mine Sing 46-2, 1,000 units, resulting in an 819-7 units, resulting in an 8,979 for the United States. This disparity meant that fewer than 5% of German infantry received semi-automatic rifles, while all U.S. soldiers were issued M1 Garands. American mass production was facilitated by innovative manufacturing techniques, specialized machinery, assembly line methods, and standardized parts with interchangeable components. Springfield Armory evolved from a traditional government arsenal into a modern production facility. By adopting automotive industry practices, unskilled workers performed single repetitive operations that collectively produced thousands of rifles daily. To counter the firepower disparity, Germany introduced the G83 semi-automatic rifle in 1943, but could not produce enough units to equip more than specialized forces. The STG-84 assault rifle, introduced into service late in 1943, hinted at future infantry weapons but with only 25,000 units produced. It failed to alter the strategic balance on the battlefield. In 1944, German tactical manuals were updated to acknowledge American superiority in firepower. New defensive strategies called for deeper entrenchments and greater reliance on mortars and artillery while avoiding direct confrontations with U.S. infantry when possible. However, these changes amounted more to tactical retreats than viable solutions. USS. Army intelligence noted that German units on the Western Front were increasingly reluctant to engage in offensive operations that required infantry assaults due to their disadvantage in firepower exchanges. This defensive posture, imposed by material inferiority, hindered the Wehrmacht's efforts to regain the initiative after the Normandy breakout. The M1 Garand rifle's superiority extended beyond simple infantry engagements and influenced combined arms tactics. One influenced German doctrine mandated close cooperation between infantry and tanks to protect against anti-tank teams, but American rifle fire complicated this coordination. During Operation Cobra in July 1944, German tank units reported that their accompanying infantry could not maintain contact with advancing armor due to intense small arms fire from the Americans. Tanks operating without infantry cover became vulnerable to bazooka teams and artillery observers. The M1 Garand also bolstered American defensive capabilities. During the German counteroffensive at Mortain in August 1944, the U.S. 30th Infantry Division held critical positions partly due to their ability to provide sustained defensive fire from individual foxholes, making enemy infantry assaults prohibitively costly. Techniques developed by U.S. Marines and Army units in the Pacific against Japanese forces armed with bolt-action Arisaka rifles proved effective when applied against German forces. The concept of vertical envelopment, using rifle fire to suppress enemy positions while maneuvering for surprise attacks from unexpected angles, was particularly potent. American units could maintain pressure and maneuver effectively due to their superior firepower, a capability that German units equipped with bolt-action rifles struggled to match. The higher rate of fire provided by the M1 Garand necessitated innovative approaches to ammunition supply. U.S. divisions in Europe required roughly 10 times more small arms ammunition compared to equivalent German units. The United States Army responded to the demand through an extraordinary logistical operation. By 1944, the Lake City Army Ammunition Plant was producing more than 3 million rounds of .36 ammunition daily. The Red Ball Express, a renowned truck convoy system, ensured that ammunition reached frontline units with top priority. American infantrymen typically carried between 80 and 100 rounds compared to German soldiers who were supplied with only 60 rounds, which the Germans found insufficient for constant resupply needs. This abundance of ammunition enabled American tactical strategies. The U.S. forces employed a tactic known as reconnaissance by fire, engaging suspected enemy positions to provoke responses. Training programs were specifically developed around the M1 Garand rifle's capabilities. At Fort Benning, the infantry school created courses that stressed rapid target engagement over precise marksmanship skills. Soldiers learned instinctive shooting techniques, quickly acquiring and engaging targets without perfect sight alignment. To simulate combat scenarios, with soldiers firing hundreds of rounds during training sessions to build muscle memory for swift engagement. This approach sharply contrasted with the German emphasis on deliberate, precise shooting with limited ammunition expenditure. American tactical doctrine adapted to leverage the semi-automatic rifle's advantages. Fire teams could perform fire and movement maneuvers more flexibly, as any soldier could provide suppressive fire while others moved into position. The traditional distinction between fire and maneuver elements became less clear when all soldiers had the capacity for sustained rapid fire. During the assault on the Siegfried Line in fall 1944, American forces showcased how semi-automatic rifles could breach well-fortified defenses. German fortifications designed to funnel attackers into machine gun kill zones proved ineffective against the cumulative effect of continuous rifle fire from American troops. The U.S. First Army reported that M1 Garand fire was effective at suppressing German bunker openings, allowing engineers to approach and plant demolition charges. A single platoon's volume of fire could neutralize several enemy positions simultaneously, disrupting coordinated defensive efforts among German forces. In October 1944, the Battle for Aachen highlighted the effectiveness of urban warfare, where the M1 Garand demonstrated its superior capabilities. Its rapid 8-round burst without needing to operate a bolt provided a significant edge in close combat scenarios. American troops were able to clear buildings and rooms more efficiently compared to their German adversaries. The gas-operated mechanism of the M1 Garand proved remarkably reliable even under harsh winter conditions from 1944 to 1945, continuing to function despite freezing temperatures that affected other weapon systems. Furthermore, the rifle's enclosed operating rod and gas system were less prone to malfunctioning in muddy or debris-filled environments than the exposed bolt action of the German Kr-98K. While maintenance was necessary for both rifles, the M1 Garand's semi-automatic nature allowed soldiers to reload faster without exposing themselves to enemy fire. The distinctive sound made when ejecting a clip initially drew criticism, but turned out to be beneficial in combat situations. Soldiers could quickly reload by feel during low-visibility conditions simply by pressing the full clips into the receiver, whereas German troops had to manually load each round individually into their rifle's internal magazines, a slower and more cumbersome process. The M1 Garand exemplified American industrial pragmatism applied to military technology, emphasizing mass production over artisanal craftsmanship. Each rifle cost around $85 in 1944, comparable to the Kr-98K's price, but was manufactured 3 times faster by American factories. This efficiency extended across the supply chain with standardized ammunition, interchangeable parts, and simplified maintenance procedures that reduced logistical burdens. Damaged M1 Garands could often be repaired simply by swapping out components from other rifles on site, whereas repairs to the Kr-98K required skilled armorers and specialized tools. In contrast, Germany struggled to match this production rate due to resource limitations and Allied bombing of industrial facilities, even when focusing on simpler bolt-action rifles. Following Germany's surrender in May 1945, U.S. Army operational research teams carried out extensive analyses on infantry combat effectiveness. These studies, grounded in combat records and interrogations of prisoners, underscored the significant impact of the M1 Garand rifle. Statistical evaluations showed that American rifle companies produced nearly 4 times as much small arms fire compared to their German counterparts. The engagement time extended from 5 to 10 minutes up to 30 to 45 minutes due to sustained firing capabilities. This allowed American infantry units to advance under continuous fire support without relying on machine guns or mortars. His assessment was not merely based on the rifle's individual attributes, but also highlighted its transformative effect on infantry combat tactics. The weapon facilitated an American tactical approach, emphasizing firepower, mobility, and proactive engagement. German military experts who wrote about the war afterward recognized their failure to grasp the significance of semi-automatic rifles. General Franz Halder, a former chief of the German General Staff, noted in his post-war writings that the Wehrmacht had underestimated how tactical superiority in basic infantry firearms could negate advantages in training and experience. When West Germany reorganized its military forces in 1955, the newly established Bundeswehr promptly adopted automatic weapons, first using the FN FAL designated as G1 and subsequently transitioning to the G3 rifle. No German army force would ever again equip primary infantry units with bolt-action rifles. This decision was informed by lessons learned during World War II. Planning documents of the Bundeswehr stressed that future German forces must avoid technological inferiority in basic weapons systems. The experience of facing superior American firepower during the war had a profound impact on subsequent military procurement decisions. The success of the M1 Garand influenced global military thinking. Within the immediate post-war period, every major military power adopted semi-automatic rifles. Examples include the Soviet Union's SKS and later AK-47, Britain's EM2, and France's MAS-49, all reflecting lessons drawn from America's demonstration of superior semi-automatic rifle technology during World War II. The Korean War validated these insights. American troops armed with M1 Garands initially enjoyed a significant edge over North Korean and Chinese adversaries who were equipped with bolt-action rifles. However, this disparity diminished as communist forces began receiving Soviet-made semi-automatic weapons. The tactical innovations that emerged from the use of the M1 Garand significantly influenced contemporary infantry doctrine. The idea of distributed firepower, where each soldier contributes substantially to fire support rather than merely serving as an ammunition carrier for machine guns, became a cornerstone in Western military strategies. Modern squad tactics, which emphasize adaptability and quick decision-making at lower levels, evolved from the capabilities offered by semi-automatic rifles like the M1 Garand. The capacity of individual soldiers to provide effective suppressive fire while maneuvering remains fundamental to today's infantry operations. The production and deployment of the M1 Garand demonstrated that industrial might could offer a decisive tactical edge in warfare. This principle extended beyond small arms. Similar production philosophies led to the mass production of tanks, aircraft, and ships. Integrating mass production techniques with military requirements revolutionized logistics and planning. In contrast, German forces experienced growing demoralization when facing superior enemy weaponry. Post-war analyses suggested that awareness of American firepower superiority affected German recruitment, training, and combat effectiveness in the war's later stages. The M1 Garand's supremacy over the Karabiner 98K went beyond a mere technological advancement. It marked the end of an era dominated by bolt-action rifles on battlefields since the late 19th century. German forces entered World War II with confidence in their tactical doctrines, training superiority, and combat experience. They found that American mass production methods and semi-automatic weaponry had rendered their approach to infantry combat outdated. The Wehrmacht's bolt-action rifles, no matter how skilled the users were, couldn't match the volume of accurate fire produced by American semi-automatic weapons. This transformation was irreversible, marking a new era where major militaries would no longer rely on bolt-action rifles as primary infantry weapons. Lessons learned between 1943 and 1945 about the importance of firepower, production capacity, and technological innovation over traditional military virtues profoundly influenced military strategy throughout the rest of the 20th century and beyond. Each time a German soldier paused to operate their rifle's bolt, while American bullets whizzed overhead, the future of warfare was being defined. This future belonged to nations capable of leveraging industrial power to provide soldiers with decisive technological advantages. The Wehrmacht had anticipated a war where training, doctrine, and experience would be crucial. Instead, they encountered an enemy whose industrial democracy equipped every soldier with semi-automatic rifles and ample ammunition. In this disparity lay both tactical defeat and the end of a specific conception of warfare. The M1 Garand rendered bolt-action rifles and the military doctrines built around them obsolete. The German army was unprepared for this change, failed to adapt to it, and ultimately suffered from its consequences. Although it offers interpretations of tactical impacts, all battle dates, unit designations, production figures, and technical specifications are derived from verified historical sources.